Ooh, Apple just updated the MacBook Pro 16 to the latest M2 processor. So what comes in the box, and is it any good? Let's find out. Before we crack this open, I would like to thank Apple for letting me borrow this M2 MacBook Pro 16. I did purchase one and it should be here actually tomorrow, but this got here first, so this is the one that we'll open. Ooh, this is a big box because the MacBook Pro 16 is a big laptop. Okay, the version that we are going to unbox today is the 12-core CPU, 19-core GPU, 32 gigabytes of unified memory, and a 2 terabyte solid state drive. So it's not the base model, but it's one of the more spec'd out versions. This is not the version that I personally purchased. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, that is a satisfying tear. Like, that's one thing that I think Apple has needed to work on a little bit more when it comes to like laptop packaging is, you gotta have a little pizzazz, and I like that. I like that a lot. This is a lot more pizzazz than in recent years. It's like a Christmas present. I love that. I wish there was another one here so that I could open it again. Okay, here we go. What a big honking laptop. Now, physically, there's not too much difference, but we'll open it up and check it out. In the box, we get our normal documentation. Ooh, and stickers. Because this is a Pro MacBook, we get the Pro stickers. We gotta, like, I always talk about the stickers, and then I never do anything with them. We gotta figure out stuff to start doing with the stickers. Okay, you get your documentation. Blah, 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 blah. Standard, standard, standard. They do have the, thank goodness we still have, can you see this? The divider is in here. So you think you're getting a big novel full of stuff to read about, but no, it's a cardboard. We also get which version of the charger is this? I know on the MacBooks, there are several versions of the charger that you can get now. The 140 watt USB-C power adapter, you get the one USB-C port. I would like to see, now that they've got the version with the 2 ports on the back, I would like to start seeing that standard. I know that as you add ports in the back, you split the charge, so you may not be getting 140 watts to 2 devices, but it would be nice to be able to maybe like half charge my laptop and charge my phone at the same time. So I wish they'd start adding that in. Now, you get the standard braided, very nice cabling. I mean, for the cost of this laptop, I would hope you get very nice cabling. I will probably never ever use this. I don't think, as much as I was excited to see MagSafe come back to the MacBooks, I don't think I've ever actually used it. I always just have it plugged in at my desk or something like that, so it always ends up just being USB-C. Quick note, I have traveled all across the country with my M1 Max MacBook Pro 16, so I would like to think that I'm a connoisseur. I would call myself a connoisseur of the big laptop and how to use it. So here we go. Here's another one. Ooh, that tore. That looks so good. I love how the new MacBooks look. They just look fantastic. Like, that is a nice looking laptop. You're paying for the functionality, right? You're not necessarily paying for the aesthetics, but I think if it can look nice and function nice at the same time, that's a win-win. And I've never had build quality issues with my MacBook. I love how they have the MacBook Pro logo just like stamped in there. We continue to have HDMI, Thunderbolt 4 SD, and then MagSafe, Thunderbolt 4, headphone jack. Pretty standard stuff, but that is basically exactly what I need in a laptop going forward. Let's open it up. How do the speakers sound? Those MacBook Pro 16 speakers. There is nothing. Obviously, I use Apple products. I also use Windows products a lot too. Like, my primary work computer is a Dell laptop. I get it. I'm a little biased towards Apple because that's what I use. But man, the speakers on a MacBook Pro 16 cannot be beaten. That display still looks so good. All right, let's set this thing up real quick. Accessibility. One of the best things that Apple does is they put accessibility right up front. All of us react to stimuli and perceive the world differently, and we may need a different way to organize our laptop, maybe a different way to visually lay it out. I love that Apple puts accessibility right up front. Man, this laptop is really cold. Like, FedEx just delivered it a few seconds ago, and you can tell it's been in their like port all weekend because this is a chilly boy. And one of the negatives, because we have an Apple Silicon processor in here, it's not going to warm up too much. So this is just going to be cold probably for the rest of the video. Creating computer account, and my son does that at stoplights now. He acts like he can see into the future, so he'll count it down, and then it, obviously rarely works. Okay, 3, 2, 1. But if you're watching this later, you'll know that I also can't see the future. But yeah, no, I love how this physically is laid out. The one thing I do kind of wish that they would update about the body of this laptop in particular, because the MacBook Pro 16 is bigger, it's their biggest laptop, the edges are still kind of jagged. And then if you're going to be working from this laptop for a long time, and again, I have worked from my M1 version for a long time, you get that, it just hurts the wrist. Like you will get marks, it just gets uncomfortable after a period of time. So I do wish either they would maybe add like a little bit of a slope, or they would just, I don't know, chill these edges out just a little bit. Choose my mode. I'm always in light mode. I don't ever set dark mode. And here we go, Mac OS Ventura on the brand new M2 MacBook Pro 16. Holy crap. They say this will go up to 1,000 nits of sustained brightness. We'll have to measure that when we actually start digging into the laptop. But can you see how bright that is? Holy crap, that is, it's so bright. I think it's overexposing this camera, and maybe it's not overexposing this camera because this camera's set a little bit lower, but that is a bright, sharp screen. It is the Pro Motion, will still get the 120 hertz refresh rate. I don't think there's been too much of an update to the display itself. Let's see how the processor looks. Yep, M2 Pro. So this is not the M2 Max, it's the M2 Pro. 32 gigabytes memory, we already talked about that. While we're here, you know what? Let's actually compare the differences between the M1 MacBook Pro 16 and the M2 MacBook Pro 16 here. Size-wise, obviously, I believe they're the exact same because they're built on the exact same chassis. No surprises there. Difference in the keyboard itself, I believe they both have the exact same keyboard layout. This is the M2, this is the M1. I'm not seeing any differences in the keyboard. They're all laid out the exact same. The speaker size is the same. Trackpad size is the same. Screen size is the same. Let's see if the brightness is different on each of them. They both look pretty similarly bright. So one of the things we found out from the M1 MacBook Pro 16 and MacBook Pro 14 is, even though it says 1,000 nits sustained brightness, that generally means when you're doing HDR stuff or when you're outside, it'll bump up the brightness a little bit. But indoors, it's more around 500 nits. So it looks like the M2 is also going to be around 500 nits because they look very similar to me. Yeah, I do like this silver though. This is space gray. This is silver. Silver's kind of winning me over recently. I have the silver phone. I should have ordered the Starlight M2 MacBook Air. Physically speaking, I think these are going to look very similar. Let's check out the camera and the microphones on here real quick. So this is how the camera on the MacBook Pro 16 looks. I think it looks all right. This is the same 1080p camera that we got in the MacBook Pro from last year. Thankfully, because Apple did need to update their cameras after they were using the 720 forever, the 720p camera forever. It was okay and fine, but it was not great, especially now that we're working from home, we're doing teleconferencing all the time. You got to have a decent camera, and more importantly, a decent microphone. You guys are hearing right now how this sounds. This says it has the studio quality microphones. Well, we have a studio quality microphone connected to my camera, so I don't know how these sound until I check it in the back, but I assume they sound okay. MacBook microphones have always been really good. So audio test 1 2 3, audio test 1 2 3. It doesn't look, I'm looking at the screen right now, it doesn't look too bad. One of the problems you'll generally have with cell phone cameras, MacBook cameras, any kind of like small centered cameras is under studio lights, they generally do not work the best. But I mean, it seems to be holding up pretty well. My skin doesn't look super blotchy. I mean, any blotchier than normal. So no, I don't think this is too bad. So initial impressions. Here, we'll just keep using this for the rest of the video. So initial impression of the M2 MacBook Pro 16, it's going to be a lot similar to what you got last year. If you still have an Intel-based MacBook Pro 16, maybe this is the one to get, unless you can get a fantastic deal on the M1 MacBook Pro 16, which do exist now. So we'll have to compare the two a little bit more when we start digging under the hood to see really where the value lies. Obviously, I do believe that this will be faster, stronger, everything better than the M1 MacBook Pro 16, but do you really need all that power? I don't know. We'll figure it out. But what about you? What would you like to know about the M2 MacBook Pro 16? Let us know in the comments below. And if you like this video, click here to see about the M2 Mac Mini. Click, 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 click. It's funny to see myself on so many screens at once. Thanks for watching.